Good day everyone. Let's continue with the second chapter, Ecology. There are 5 subtopics in this chapter. 2.1 Ecosystem Concept, 2.2 Energy Flow through Ecosystem, 2.3 Biogeochemical Cycle, 2.4 Conservation and Management, 2.5 Population Ecology. In this video, we will focus on 2.1 Ecosystem Concept and 2.2 Energy Flow through Ecosystem. Let's start with the first subtopic. At the end of this topic, students should be able to define ecosystem, describe lake ecosystem based on light penetration and distance from shore and water depth, describe terrestrial ecosystem of tropical rainforest stratification. What is ecology? Before we learn further, we should know about the definition of ecology for better understanding. Ecology is the study of the relationships between organisms and their environment and the balances between these relationships. Ecologists organizes their study into several levels, which is known as ecological hierarchy. The simplest unit is the organism, a single living thing, where the simplest unit is the organism, which is then followed by a population, which is same species sharing a habitat. When different populations interacting in the same habitat, this will form a community. As you can see, a community consists of several populations. For example, in this diagram, population of otters, fishes, and coral reefs. Living community, together with their physical environment such as water, soil, and light, will form an ecosystem. And the largest unit is biosphere, which represents the total area of Earth where living things are found. Now, let's look at the definition of an ecosystem. Eugene Odom, an American ecologist, defined ecosystem as a basic functional unit of nature, including both organisms and their non-living environment, each interacting and influencing each other and necessary for maintenance and development of the system. There are 4 important components of an ecosystem, which are: first, biotic components; second, abiotic components; third, interactions among biotic components; and the last one, interaction between biotic and abiotic components.
Hi, I'm Emerald Robinson, and in this What Is video, we're going to investigate Earth's ecosystems. An ecosystem is a community of living things interacting with the non-living parts of their environment. There are 2 primary parts of an ecosystem. The biotic part is made of all the living things like plants and animals, fungi, and bacteria and viruses. The abiotic part is made up of non-living things like rocks and minerals, water, and energy. Ecosystems can be almost any size. While most of us think of communities like a coral reef or a forest, an ecosystem can be a small pond or even the area beneath a large rock. Ecosystems need energy. In most cases, this energy comes from sunlight. Producers, like plants, take light energy and convert it into usable sugar energy through photosynthesis. As animals consume the energy from plants, they are eaten by other animals and ultimately decompose back into the soil. The energy moves through the ecosystem via a food web. 2 of the most important concepts in the study of ecosystems are niche and habitat. A habitat is a place where an organism lives. Organisms must get nutrition, shelter, water, and the other things they need to survive from their habitat. Niche is an organism's special role in the ecosystem. What and how something eats, how it behaves, where it lives, all of these things define an organism's niche.
Let's look at an example of an ecosystem, the lake ecosystem. A lake can be divided into several zones based on the light penetration and distance from shore and depth of water. For light penetrations, there are two zones which are photic zones and aphotic zone, while for distance from shore and depth of water divided into two zones which are littoral and limnatic. Photic zone is the upper part of the lake or marine environment where light is sufficient for photosynthesis. The aphotic zone is the deep open water where regions that do not receive light. Littoral is the area near the shore that receives sunlight extending down to the depth where rooted plants stop growing. Means as long as rooted plants can grow, so that area is known as littoral zones. And for limnatic zone is the open surface water which is away from the shore. Another example of an ecosystem is the tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforests can be divided into several layers of stratification which are emergent, which is the tallest or the first layer. Second is canopy. Third, understory. Fourth is shrub. And the lowest layer is ground layer or forest floor. Emergent layer consists of trees that project 50 to 60 meters above the general level of the canopy. The second layer, canopy layer, forms a continuous evergreen carpet which is about 25 to 35 meters tall. The third layer, understory layer, is dark and humid area contains saplings between the trunks or larger trees, about 15 to 24 meters high. The fourth layer, which is the shrub layer, contains small trees and shrubs, and the lowest layer, which is the ground layer, composed of tall herbs and ferns with a deep litter of fallen leaves and branches. Let's continue with the second subtopic, which is energy flow in an ecosystem. In this subtopic, you will learn about energy transfer in ecological pyramids in relation to trophic level and the calculation of energy loss in each trophic level. This is an example of an ecological pyramid. A trophic level is the group of organisms within an ecosystem which occupy the same level in a food chain. The lowest level is the producer, followed by primary consumers, secondary consumers, and the top level is tertiary consumers. Usually, an ecological pyramid consists of 4 to 5 trophic levels only. Only 10% of energy is transferred from one trophic level to another. The rest is lost as heat in the process such as respiration, excretion, photosynthesis, movements, or growth. For example, during photosynthesis, producers get 10,000 kilocalories of energy. When a primary consumer eats the producer, only 10% of the energy from producer will be transferred to the primary consumer. 90% of the energy is lost as heat. The same process continues in the following trophic level, where each level will only get 10% of energy from the previous trophic levels.
Energy flow in an ecosystem. All living things, which are biotic factors, require energy. Some of these biotic factors get their energy from the sun. Others eat other biotic factors. As a result, energy flows in ecosystems. This flow of energy can be represented with food chains and food webs. For most ecosystems, the ultimate source of energy is the sun. And as you move from one organism to another, you move up a trophic level. For example, moving from the mollusk to the white perch would be a trophic level. Producers use photosynthesis to create their energy, and they are a very large source of energy in most ecosystems. Plants and algae are examples. As consumers eat these producers, carbon bonds are broken and energy is released, and this energy is transferred from one level to another. However, as you move from one trophic level to another, you lose 90% of this energy. This is known as the 10% rule. For example, if you start with 1,000 joules of grass and a grasshopper eats the plant, only 10 joules will be transferred. And a bird eats the insect, only 1 joule will be transferred. Where does this energy go? Most of the energy is lost as heat. The energy flow in an ecosystem follows the laws of thermodynamics. The first law states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed in a system, however it can be converted from one form to another. The second law states that this energy conversion is never completely efficient, and as a result, most of your energy is lost as heat.
We have done with 2.1 and 2.2. In the next video, you will learn about 2.3 biogeochemical cycles and 2.4 conservation and management. Thank you.